All right, and thank you for joining me for another episode of The Legal Tea. Let me ask you this question. Have you ever spent money on something because you thought it was going to, it's supposed to be bigger or better or faster? I have. Like my internet here at the office, I went to like the highest package because it was supposed to be really, really fast. And it wasn't. It's like the same as it was before. And so it kind of made me like, especially with, so I spent this money, right? The internet is not as fast as they said it would be, or I thought it would be. And then a couple months later, the company is calling me talking about, hey, can we interest you in an upgrade so you can get the fastest speed out there? I'm like, y'all already got me for the fastest speed out there. Like, why are you calling me? So I got, needless to say. So in this instance, we're not talking about like cable companies. We are talking about cellular companies. Last month, back in February, Sprint sued AT&T, alleging that the company was misleading consumers into believing that they were using this 5G technology when they weren't. And when we're talking about 5G and 4G, that's referring to talking about how fast the data can go. And data is really important nowadays when everybody's using their cell phones as mini computers and television. People want the fastest thing out there. I was just talking to my dad the other day and he was talking about how slow, quote unquote, the wait times on computers can be. And I'm like, really, Dad? Slow? I know if I remember dial-up, you definitely remember dial-up. So this whole slow thing is relative and it's funny, it's funny. Anyway, so what we're going to talk about today is false advertising. False advertising, because it is a thing. And it's not just reserved for brand ambassadors. I know I did a story a few months ago about brand ambassadors and them having to have truth in advertising. But right now we want to focus on false advertising, which is part of the Lanham Act, which covers trademarks and service marks. So it's really interesting that the same thing that protects brands through trademark registration also protects consumers, right? So this is what AT&T essentially is saying. They're saying that, this is what Sprint is saying. Sprint is saying that AT&T has started this mega advertising campaign where they're advertising this 5G technology for the data speeds. When the consumers hit certain markets, they have this 5G labeling that pops up on their phone. The thing is, it's not available for the consumers to use. It's not available for them to use, but the consumers, they did a survey and they said 54% of the people believe that they are on a faster network. They think that they're on the 5G network and that it's a faster network. And Sprint says that because of this, they are losing customers because people don't want to leave AT&T because they think that AT&T has a superior service by providing that 5G technology. So let's talk about false advertising. You have a couple of elements. We lawyers, we like our elements. We have 5 in this case, right? To prevail on false advertising claim, you have to prove 1, that the statement was false or misleading. 2, that it was used in some type of commercial advertising or promotion. 3, that it deceives or likely to deceive in a material way. It can't be something petty. It can't be something that's not really going to make a difference in the market or to the consumer or their decision. It can't be something petty. It has to be something material. And for the Lanham Act to apply, it has to be interstate commerce, because remember, it's federal. The Lanham Act is federal, so in order for it to take effect or apply, it has to be something that applies within multiple states. So this person has this product or service, that product or service has to be available in multiple states, right? Just like with trademarks. And the 5th thing is that it's likely to cause or have caused a competitive or commercial injury to the person that's suing them. So in this case, Sprint is saying, hey, yeah, we have been hurt by this because of this advertising that AT&T is doing. It's leading people to believe that they have a superior product, and because of that, we are losing customers. Johnson says Yep, that 5G is not everywhere yet. I hate how companies play with the words to mislead customers. Yes, and this is not the first time that this has happened. You know, we have 5G. That means we had 4G before then, and then we had 3G. And every time, you know, the companies are acting like they are making something available that's not available yet. So this is not even the first lawsuit surrounding this. Back when the 4G technology came out, there was a lawsuit then. But it is misleading. But AT&T says, no, we're not misleading them. We're simply letting them know that this 5G technology is available in their area. Well, yeah, we don't know that. We see 5G on our phone and we're thinking that we have a superior signal. We should be receiving faster bandwidth now because it says 5G. Even though the phones aren't capable, we're not aware that the phones aren't capable of accepting or implementing this technology. So we see the 5G and we're like, oh yes, I got it going on. So yes, Jocelyn, I hate how they're doing that. And that's what this Lanham Act is there to prevent, because right now what they're doing, it is false advertising. You're having consumers believe one thing that it's not. And so with the false statements, there are two things. So what AT&T is saying is, hey, we're not lying. And so one of the two statements that's covered under this act is one, straight up lying. If it's a straight up lie, then it's covered under this act. But the second thing that's covered are those statements that are literally true, like it's literally true, but it's misleading, right? But it's deceptive. And that's the thing that Sprint is saying about AT&T. Yes, it's literally true that there's 5G technology available in this area, but the way that you're using it is misleading because people believe that they are using this technology, that they have access to this technology, and they don't. And so that's what Sprint is saying about that. Now, so when it comes to these statements, one of the things you need to know is that this act, it doesn't cover what's considered, and I remember the first time I heard this word, like in law school, puffery. Puffery is more of like a exaggerated statement, right? It's a material, it makes like some broad, exaggerated or boastful statement about some product or service. Most of the time, or 100% of the time, it's a matter of opinion. It's not a matter of fact, it's a matter of opinion. For instance, statements like the world's best, and you can fill in the blank, and that is a puffery statement. So it's not illegal to make puffery statements because it's a matter of opinion. And it's hard to prove or disprove. Just like some people might think that Sprint has the best network, there are other people giving them the side eye like, what? Really, Sprint? No, you are crazy and bananas. Sprint has the worst. So that's a matter of opinion, so it's not illegal. On the other hand, if someone's making a claim that says this ointment will cures cancer, and it doesn't cure cancer, then that's a false statement that's illegal and can hold the person making the statement civilly liable. So when you make false statements, you have a couple of remedies. You can have an injunction, which Sprint asks for an injunction for them to stop advertising this 5G technology, since they have this 5G technology. And the other thing is monetary damage. The only way you can get monetary damages is if you actually had monetary damages. The only way you can receive money is if you actually lost money. If you haven't lost any money due to this, then the only thing you can get is an injunction. So that our three takeaways. So we have three takeaways from the story, because as you're doing your advertising and doing your marketing, what I want you to take away from the story is that there's a difference between an exaggerated statement of opinion and a straight up lie. One of them will get you the side eye. The other one is going to hurt your pockets because of legal fees and monetary damages. So there's a difference. Be careful. Be careful. The other thing I want you to know about is that you can be liable for half-truths that you tell in your advertising if they mislead, confuse, or deceive in a way that causes competitive or commercial injury to a party. So if you're going and you're twisting your words that it's true, so maybe you're making a true statement, but the way that you're making that statement is very misleading, and it's causing commercial unfair competition in the market, that's not right. You can be sued for that. So don't do that. Don't don't mislead people. We want to run honest businesses anyway, right? We don't want to have people coming to us who really don't want to work with us, because at the end of the day, they're not going to be good customers. You're going to get them in. I can only imagine what the customer service line is like for AT&T, for these people who say, "Oh, I have this 5G symbol on my phone, but I keep dropping calls. My download times are terrible. I got this 5G. I thought it was going to be like the fastest thing out there." Can you imagine that customer service agent and what they have to go through? So you want to make sure you're telling the truth in your advertising anyway, because you want to attract the best people. If you have to get people through deception, you don't even want them. They're going to be such a big headache. It's not even going to be worth it, right? So that was thing number 2. No half-truths, no literal truths that you use in some type of misleading way. And the third thing is that, listen, although the Lanham Act is federal, which requires some type of interstate commerce, most states have their own version of this unfair competition. So you still want to be, even if you're not doing business in commerce, you still want to be careful, because most states have their own version of this. All right. Well, I do appreciate you all tuning in for another episode of The Legal Tea. Just so you know, I have created a central hub, if you will, of where you can find things that are related to what I'm doing, and it's called LaKanyaMurray.com is the website, and the Facebook page is LaKanya Murray ESQ, and that way you'll find the blog posts, you'll find the podcast, you'll find any type of speaking things that I've done, anything I have going on, you'll be able to find. And on that note, I have a webinar coming up on the 18th of March. For people that are interested in nonprofit. If you have a nonprofit, or if you're forming a nonprofit, if you think about forming a nonprofit, you definitely want to be on the webinar, because myself along with Takesha Boone, who is the nonprofit success strategist, we are doing a joint webinar to help you get your whole nonprofit life together. We're going to be dispelling some myths. We're going to be talking everything from the boardroom to branding, and just really how to get your nonprofit business together. And you can find information about that at bit.ly/the business of nonprofit. And this says, the question from Jocelyn says, does all of that small print at the bottom of the commercials cover companies? It does. I'm going to put it this way. It does for now. I think it's going to get to a point where someone can argue that it's not effective. Especially when they're talking like really, really fast and you can't even hear what they're saying. It's legal, but I think at some point somebody's going to challenge that. Somebody's going to be affected by one of those side effects. And when you ask that question, I'm thinking about the pharmaceutical commercials where they have like a whole list of side effects and they say them so fast, right? I'm thinking at some point somebody is going to sue them over that. So, but as of right now, yeah, it's legal. That was a good question. And Sandra says that I'm registered. Yay! I'm so glad. It's going to be so good. And the thing is, we just opened registration 2 days ago for 100 people, and now we only have 18 slots left. 18. And this is just day 3. So I would imagine by next week we will be at capacity. And the replay is available. So I recommend and suggest that you register. The replay will be available for those who register. All right? Well, that's what I have. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to get out of here. It's a Friday. I'm going to go pick up my kids because they don't want to stay at school all day. Go figure. You guys take care.